Have you ever wondered about people's careers and how they got to where they are? I've always been fascinated about people's blueprints, and I've always been an advocate for pay transparency and in favor of negotiating the best salary for yourself. So I decided to share my career journey with you and the salaries associated with the positions I have been in. It's been a long time since I graduated college, so some of these salaries might shock. Actually, considering the economy right now, what I've experienced in retail recently, I'm in amazement at how tough it is out there trying to make a living wage. So here it goes. When I first graduated, I did a bunch of odd jobs like interning for a movie production and TV network. At 23 years old, I was interning at a modeling agency working in accounts receivables in the accounting department, making about $20 an hour. So if you're not familiar with what accounts receivable does, I basically track down delinquent payments. And old invoices that weren't paid. And I was really good at it. And the president of the company took me under her wing and gave me a lot of good career advice. My boss could have been one of those executives in the movie The Devil Wears Prada. So I was working at the modeling agency for nearly a year, but they couldn't hire me full time, so I decided to look elsewhere. I graduated with a filmmaking degree, so I wanted to get into some sort of production field. So at 24 years old, I eventually found a salaried role as an equipment coordinator at a television studio in Brooklyn. They offered me $25,000 with benefits. At the same time, I also interviewed at Chase Bank for a personal banker position, and I was offered $35,000 with benefits. But I decided to take the lower salary in the field that I wanted to get into. I honestly really enjoyed my time at the studio because I learned from producers, directors who were so open to teaching me the trade. I even technical directed a studio show and worked in the control room. It was fun. I had a blast, but I just didn't make enough to support the goals that I planned to achieve. At 27, having spent a few years at the television studio, I decided to quit full-time to become a freelance producer and camera operator. As a result, I didn't produce a steady income. I did save about $10,000 as a cushion before quitting. I would say my income fluctuated from $10,000 to $15,000 per year freelancing. At the time, I didn't mind because I was living at home and making content that was important and helped me grow creatively. After a few years freelancing and barely making a living off the gig work, a friend recommended me for a job at his marketing company where he worked. I decided to pivot into a career in digital advertising. I was 29 and accepted a position as a media coordinator with a salary of $38,000 with benefits. During this period was very challenging. It was a year trying out a new field. I eventually was laid off and I went back to freelancing. Then out of the blue, a recruiter from a travel tech company contacted me and asked if I would like to interview for a role, which led to me making the most money of my entire working career. At 32 years old, I started as a business development associate, starting at $55,000 with quarterly bonus, and eventually promoted to manager at $75,000. During this time, I started an investment club, managing around $100,000 in funds. Then, at 35 years old, I was offered a senior account manager role at an ad agency starting at $115,000 and would be promoted to associate director, making around $140,000. But with bonus and benefits, it came closer to $150,000. During this time, I also started real estate investing. Now, at age 41, I was laid off about a year ago. I own a duplex in Florida, a 2-unit long-term rental in upstate New York, and close to $1 million in retirement and investment accounts. The reason why I'm sharing my career journey with you is not to brag, but to really emphasize the importance of leveraging the money that you make. And also it takes time to save it up and making sure that you leverage it and you're making sure that you're investing for the future. I appreciate you guys watching. Remember to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for some amazing content. Until next time, remember, keep it up, move it forward, and also, it can't rain all the time.